Hello everyone, welcome back. So, what's spiritual? Before I answer that question, I promised in the comments from the last video that I will answer the following question, which ties into the whole subject of today. And that is, why do I speak about things, I don't know, from this perspective, or why do I just like stick with, I don't know, a certain area in my videos? Because some of you have written, written in the comments things about galactic history, I know, crystals, a lot of things. Well, you have to understand, as I mentioned a few times in other videos by now, my path didn't start yesterday. So I'm almost 38 and I started this when I was 8. So there's quite a lot of, well, there's a lot of time in between where I obsessed about a lot of things at a specific time, which, well, and now, since I am having this, I mean, the process is so advanced and things have changed so much, and the insights that I receive are not meant to repeat what has been said, or the fragments that are right now coming back to the surface, into our awareness, what people call New Age, which is the old age. I'm not here to do that, to repeat what has come from the past. I might make a reference to accommodate a new information, or a new concept, or talk about the universal truth in a new way, but somehow to give you a little bit of context. Because, I don't know, it's like most of the people even on this path don't really realize that right now, whatever we see right now, although it may seem the same, it's not. It's really different. Even the information, the currents that are running through the hologram right now are just very, very different. And although right now there's this echoes from the past and all the stuff which is part of the healing, and well, there's still distortions, but whatever. So some of you might want me to talk about things that you are comfortable with, that you are, yes, comfortable and know about those things. So you have some kind of like, she's talking about things that I know, like a confirmation thing, which I understand, because I had this type of mind myself. But as these things started to open inside me, the knowledge and this awareness to expand, I realized that I don't necessarily have to do this, because one, as I said, those things belong to former reality. These are echoes from the past. This information, although it might contain certain truths, or diluted truths, or distorted truth, they have been presented in a manner that was okay, useful for those times. Some might sorry, things can happen. Well, you can see. Although those things have been relevant in those times, it's not anymore today. And I know that this is unsettling for a lot of people that right now are just starting to walk on this path. And that's what I said in the beginning, is like, I've already went through all this, like obsessing about galactic history, aliens, black projects, I don't know, crystals, whatever. I've done all those things. Yes, galactic history is very, very important. History in general is very important for various reasons. I mean, we don't necessarily have to go too far in history to understand that we have a lot of these problems today because we do not understand history, and we do not understand each other. We do not respect each other, countries with each other, like people. So we have a lot of things to fix, even from more recent times. But those things, as we heal, as the energy grows and expands, will heal all this, let's say, mess, so to speak. And I will refer to certain things, and I am referring even in my books, but for now I'm shown by source to talk about how things work, because a lot of these things have been, how should I say, not just misunderstood, but like for too much time, things have been approached from like a sensationalistic perspective, and all this like spiritual whatever is, and even like go Brotherya and do all these things. It has been approached without maturity, and I don't do that. I really approach everything with maturity, and because this is real to me, in my experience, I don't play with this. I don't do things just to do things. I don't put things out there just to put things out there. So that's why I'm careful about a lot of stuff. And yes, plus it's all about safety. And as I said, it's a time now when the most important thing is the work that you do with yourself, inside yourself, because a lot of this is an echo of the past in terms of knowledge and in terms of techniques, in terms of all the stuff, still does not get one on the path unless, I don't know, as I said, you have to have the codes, you have to set the right intention so that the path can open before you, because in the end it's beyond certain techniques, it's beyond what you think you know, and it starts with the intention, as I mentioned before. And that is like that it's possible for you, especially if you're at the beginning of the road, and but even if you're like later, I mean further down the road. Anyways, so that's why I hope you understand. I can't make everyone happy, but I do my best every time to whatever I talk about, even it might seem that it's a little bit like covered, I will always make sure that it's done properly and it's helpful. Yeah, so I hope this answered that question, why do I do certain things in the manner that I do them. So now returning to spiritual, the thing that I said last time and the last video, that I would love to dismantle. Previous, like in this hologram, due to all sorts of manipulation, lack of loss of energy, and not just one time, many times, well, really a long time ago, these concepts, these things have been brought forward as a way, like clues, to find yourself, to find the path toward yourself, inside yourself. And spiritual is one of those things, like divine would be another one, which I say at this point these words to me are sometimes annoying because they're used in this, I don't know, how should I say without offending anyone, not just bohemian way, but it's like, oh, divine love of spiritual blah. It's kind of like that, like, ooh, whatever. When I said before, in order for something to work for you, especially when it comes to concept and ideas, to embody them, you have to make them, to activate them. And a lot of the language that has been used and still is being used on the spiritual, on the path to freedom, is still kind of like that. And it blocks, it's like, I see this from the inside. It blocks your direct access to what you need to embody. And that's the problem with a lot of these things, because people will stay at the level of like, oh, I need to get more information. Is like, it's a phase, I said, it's like, it's a phase when you're trying to build an image to convince yourself that this somehow is true, that it makes sense. And then it's like, okay, how do I do this? And yes, you start to do some exercise, you start to do whatever, but then you find out that this is still not enough or whatever. Well, at least if you realize those things, because there are people that think that, well, I don't want to go there, but anyways. So if you have that awareness and at some point you feel like you got stuck, is because the language doesn't help much. And as I said before, language is everything. It's how we create with language. And in a lot of, as I said, a lot of this stuff has been presented in not just sensationalistic, but also because there hasn't been. This is because of the energy, the lack of energy. So there's lack of clarity. Has been presented, well, how has been presented so far. Also, I have to understand that I'm coming from a technical background and I have a technical mind, although I'm creative and stuff like that. So my mind works in a way that when I want to do something, I have to understand how that works and how I get that thing done. So I don't get lost into the whatever. I can't do that. Only when I'm like saying, oh, okay, now you relaxed, you whatever. But other than that, it's just I have to understand how that works. And as I said, this is part of my codes, and this is how Source talks to me, shows me stuff, and this is how I'm presenting them to you. Although it might seem, as I said, unsatisfactory sometimes because you expect me to repeat things that you've heard before, that's not what I'm doing, that's not what I'm going to do from now on. I might refer to certain things to, I don't know, give you context, but other than that, I will talk about things, universal truths, in a manner that it's in accordance with this type of current, with the way things are now. And plus, I'm here to bring new things and not to, I don't know, put life into the echoes of the past. That's just not, this is not my job. And certain things really have to die down and to let them go because they are not part of the reality that is forming right now, well, at least for some of us. So, spiritual. The word spiritual has been like an aid, like a tool to understand that is the way in, is like the path to yourself, inside yourself, to freedom, is something that you don't really see, but it's there. As I said, and from a certain point, everything becomes paradoxical, as like when I talk, because it's not that, but it's that. It's just, and you have to get really comfortable with things that are not really comfortable. So that's another thing. And this has been like, how should I put this? I don't know if you've watched the film Tron. I would really encourage you to watch it. It has a lot of interesting stuff in there, although people might see that this is just a sci-fi or whatever, but it's not really sci-fi. So Source puts out there is like it takes things from inside itself and like copy and paste or something of itself, where you take something out of itself and it's like, okay, make visible one aspect. And the word spiritual was meant to be a tool to help you go back within to find the power in a time when there's not enough energy. There's what you see is what you get, and you don't have awareness that there is more. For me as a child, I was already born with this awareness that not only that this is not enough, or whatever I see, it's just not, that's it. It felt fake. How should I put this? I'm going to give you a little analogy of like computer thing. Most people see the reality as something like that takes all the screen, and they see, oh, okay, that's my reality. But you're not even aware of, well, most of people are not aware that this is even a screen. I was born with the awareness that not only that this is a screen, but there's an escape button that I can always change that reality, and then I can, I don't know, like minimize the window, and then I go into another window. I think you get the idea. So in this sense, this is the role of the word spiritual, to make you aware that you can change what you see, you can change what's happening what in your awareness. But has been somehow romanticized, mysticized, like many other things, and there's a lot of distortion around it. So that's why there's a lot of has created a lot of problems in all religions of the world. And that's why there's still a lot of problems around the world, because of all this garbage that has been perpetuated over centuries, millennium, and stuff like that. So yes, that's why I don't like the word spiritual anymore, and that it has created so many problems. Yes, we still use we use Breatharian somehow to evidentiate, as emphasize a certain aspect that, hey, this is kind of in this direction. But when you start to heal, you realize that everything is spiritual. Absolutely everything is spiritual. And the good and the bad. All of us are capable of doing great things and horrible things. All of us. It's a matter of choice and awareness, and this comes with the level of energy that you have, the light that you embody, the codes, and always with the choices. You can always change and improve with the choices that we make, because we have no choice but to make a choice to actually move forward. So this is another paradox. And that's why I don't. That's why I don't like it anymore. It's we use it doesn't to emphasize something that it's unseen, that it's invisible, but it's there, and we're trying to access that. And once we actually start to have access to that, it becomes redundant, and then you kind of see that it becomes kind of like an obstacle. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it made sense what I just shared today. Okay, that was it. See you next time. Ciao. Very important, and that's why I'm saying it's abrupt, because every step that is made